Hi guys. All right, so here's a video I said I would do for you. This isn't an easy topic to talk about, but consider it a warning if you decide I'm not going to leave my narcissist. First of all, we need to lose the terminology my narcissist. Why would you want to claim that person as yours? Okay? You also have to realize too that when you keep this person in your life, everything about you can be destroyed, including your health in the long term. Okay? So, your psychological health, mental well being, your physical well being. You can have all kinds of diseases. You could be predisposed to diabetes and cancer. You could die early just from the stress alone. You could have a heart attack or a stroke that led to a heart attack, or vice versa. Your health will go right down the tubes. In addition to your finances, your mental well-being, your psychological well-being, everything. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And if your self-esteem is so low that you feel like I'm never going to find anybody else, I have no choice, I have to stay with this person, let me explain to you what reactive abuse is. Okay? Because I've been down this road. So I grew up in a violent household. Those of you who've watched my videos from back in the day, you already know that. And what happens, or what could happen as a result of growing up in a violent household, you're not allowed to show anger. You're allowed to show tears and depression. That's perfect for the narcissistic, psychopathic, or sociopathic parents. That's perfect because the intimidation and control is what gets them off. And narcissists love control too. They're obsessed with control. So you grow up in a violent household like I did. There's a strong possibility that you will grow up very angry. And when I was in my 20s, I had a serious rage problem. Okay, which stayed with me for a long time. And into my yeah, mostly in my 20s. Uh I had to get therapy for my rage because I'd get mad at the drop of a hat. Uh as a result of growing up in an abusive household, violent household. Um, I developed PTSD. That is just not, that's not limited to people that are coming back from war. Okay? Anybody could have PTSD if they're exposed to enough trauma over a period of time. So PTSD can rear its ugly head. And even if you don't have PTSD, I don't care if you're the nicest person in the world, if you're the sweetest person in the world, if you are the type that cries if you accidentally kill a spider. I do not care. Anyone can be prone to reactive abuse and prone to violence when they've had it up to here with a person's bullshit. The mind screw, the physical abuse, the verbal abuse. People do snap. I don't know the terms, but some states there's a term for it, and I can't remember what the term legally is. But it's basically a law, depending on certain states, where the partner or the wife or the husband, whoever, they just lost it because of extended, you know, being exposed to abuse over a period of time, and they just lost it. Sometimes it's called something passion. I forget what it's called. But in the heat of the moment, you just lashed out violently. Anybody is capable of that. I don't care how sweet you think you are. Anybody can be pushed to their limit. Anybody. Let me give you a prime example. We'll get back to me in a second. There was a lady, I was looking at a criminal justice book. So these are actual events that took place. These are actual photos that I saw. This lady was tired of her husband putting his hands on her over, I don't even know how many years. He came at her like this, and he was going to her. He had the knife in his hand. His arm was raised. She shot him dead, and his body stayed in that position while he was on his knees. His arm was stuck up like this, but he was dead. But he just died suddenly, and his body froze that way. So I saw that image. She'd had enough of him, and she shot him dead. He died instantly. So his body stayed in the position it was in. So it was obvious, if any cop responds, when the cops responded to the scene, it was obvious that he had intention of hurting her. His body is in the same position, even though he's no longer here. Okay. You don't have to be prone to violence in order to snap. You could bake cookies for every new neighbor that comes in. Everybody knows Sally Sue's gonna make you a batch of cookies because that's how she is. She's a sweetheart. Anybody can be prone to, it's called reactive abuse, and I really wish that term wasn't used, but unfortunately it is. Reactive abuse is when you've had enough of somebody's bullshit and you literally snap. You scream, you yell, you rant, you rave, they may put their hands on you, and one day you may attack them back violently. You may take them out of here. Some people have taken people out of here, and I don't mean to lunch or a movie, okay? They took them out because they'd had enough. So there are some laws in some states that actually have room for that. You just couldn't take it anymore. You just lost your mind. I was close to being driven to that point a couple of times, okay? One time I was involved with someone in Florida, and when I would go, he was just verbally, not really verbally abusive, but very detached and nonchalant. And when I would stress out and cry, he would just be like, and keep watching TV. Like, your tears mean absolutely nothing to me, okay? So then over time, you get to the point where you start to have fantasies of getting rid of this person. I'm just going to keep it real with you. This topic is hard to talk about, but I'm keeping it real with you. I'm being transparent with you because I don't want you to end up in prison. And if you mess around and eliminate this person, you're going to go to jail. You're probably going to go to prison. Depends on the laws of your state and if they believe in the passion law and all this other. It depends, okay? I don't want you to be, they're not worth all that, all right? But anyway, Mr. Nonchalant, when I was crying, I started having fantasies of hiding in the bushes with this, okay, and handling him when he left the house to go to work. And while he lays there going through his, I had images of me standing over him as he's leaving the world going, "You ain't so cocky now." People will push you to that point. Do you understand what I'm telling you? People will push you to that point because they just don't know when to freaking stop. Okay? There was another individual, the one I was engaged to, the one who was a whore. Slept with everything not bolted to the ground, but he was in church a couple days a week, baby, because he was so holy. Right. Is there anybody in church he hasn't poked? That's probably, a shorter list. He was the one who liked to grab my shirt, shove it up against my throat, and that kind of thing. When he flew into a rage, there was no warning. He would just flip his lid. Okay. And I got to the point with him because over a period of time, you get sick and god dang tired of it. You get sick and tired of them putting their hands on you. And you're like, that's when I told him, and y'all probably remember this, especially those of you who have been with me for years, you already know this. At one point I looked at him and I said, I could take your life right now and it wouldn't bother me at all. And I was as serious as a heart attack. That wasn't a threat. That was a fantasy in my head. And I'm not a violent person. But a person can take but so much. This is another reason why you have to leave these sons of bitches women included, if they're psychotic, you leave them in the beginning. In the beginning. You walk. You walk. They are not worth you going to jail. They are not worth you going to prison. Do you hear me? They are not worth it. They're not. Good news is they'll never put their hand on someone again. Bad news is your life as you knew it is over. Their life is over, but so is yours. And in prison, they'll exchange you for a package of cigarettes or whatever it is that they need. The one I was engaged to, the one who was a whore, okay? I had images of getting rid of him too. That. And calling the cops, it was an image. It didn't happen. But I had image in my head of me calling the cops and saying, get his ass off my living room floor. I step over him and I go about my business until, of course, they find me and then I go to prison. This is what you're potentially signing up for. And do not sit here and tell me, I would never do that. I would never do that. Bullshit and triple layers of bullshit. You don't know what you're going to do when you are pushed against the goddamn wall and you have reached your limit. You don't know what you're prone to do. So don't sit here and tell me you would never, because I'm here to tell you, just like Jules Lowell says, Joules, last name Lowell. Go to her channel. She talks about it. She says the courthouse is filled with people getting a divorce, although they thought their man would never do that. He loves me so much, he would never put his hands on me. He would never do that. He's just not wired that way. He's just not like that. Oh, you think so? Really? Some people didn't find out who they married until the night of their wedding. And I told you about this, and Jules talked about this on her channel as well. The guy and the girl got married. He was, and some people are psychotic, but they don't show it until you say I do. Or early in the honeymoon phase, they're whooping your ass. And you thought they would never do that. He loves me so much, or she loves me so much, they wouldn't hurt a fly. Don't you live in that fantasy world, because once you see the evil that's in them, you know it's there. What makes you think it won't get worse? Okay? What makes you think it won't get worse? And see, in my case, I knew that when I had images of eliminating this person, it was time for me to leave them. Truth be told, I should have left them before then, but this is when I was younger. I didn't know as much as I know now. You have to have a high self-worth and know that you deserve more than to be treated the way you're being treated. And you nip that in the bud. Who are you talking to like that? Who do you think you're... No. Wait, no. Hold it right there. Who do you think you're talking to like that? I'm not your ex-wife. Don't talk to me like that. Okay? You nip that crap in the bud. Any form of disrespect, belittling, laughing at things that are important to you, any type of disrespect, you need to be able to walk. Because if you stay there and you risk losing your mind and you risk taking them down, you're going to prison. Chances are you're going to prison. Okay? You're going to have to use your brain, and you're going to have to let go of the fantasy of, well, one day, it was great in the beginning, and one day it's going to be great again. I just have to be patient with it. It's going to get better. When you saw a glimpse of the devil, what makes you think it's going to get better? You're living in a fantasy world, because the nice person costume that they had on in the beginning, that's done. That's done if they're toxic. That's done. You're holding on to an unreality. You fell in love with a ghost. You fell in love with a ghost. That nice person doesn't exist. That's the bullshit that they present to you so that you get suckered in, and you're the fish on the line. That's the bait. They can't come out and tell you, you know what? I know we're just getting to know each other, but I like to lie, cheat, manipulate. I love to screw people's brains. I love to gaslight them and tell them that this is the reality when I know that that is not the reality. I love to mess with their head. I love to see people go crazy. I love to see them question their own reality. I freaking love it. I love cheating. Humping other people is it's so much fun cheating. Lying behind someone's back. I do all of that. I can't help it. My brain is damaged, so I can't help that. I can't help it. So, would you like to go out sometime? They can't exactly do that now, can they? Right. So they have to put on the fake nice person costume. That's what they do. They fake that they're a nice person. Okay. And then when you finally get rid of them, which I'm hoping you start doing this earlier in the beginning, when you get rid of them in the beginning, you don't have the opportunity to be gaslit, to get pregnant by, use birth control, damn it. You don't have the opportunity to be manipulated with your mind. You don't have any of those opportunities because you're leaving them in the beginning. Okay? The little, tiny, subtle disrespect that they do. Like the little son of a bitch I went out with Sunday. Okay? He deliberately was late. Why? Because I'm showing you right out the gate that you don't matter and that your time doesn't matter. I'm going to deliberately tell you that I'm starting a project, cleaning my house, knowing god dang well I'm supposed to spend time with you. And I'm going to tell you a time, and then I'm going to deliberately tell you, deliberately be late. This is a disrespect right out the gate. And then, of course, he made everything about him. So that was just the cherry on the sundae. So far as I'm concerned, I'm out. Okay. And I'll run into the little bastard again, I'm sure. And I will ignore him. I could walk right by you. I did that to my roommate when we lived in New York. She lost her goddamn mind. I walked right by her like she wasn't even standing there. Don't play me. Don't play with me. Okay? When you fell in love with this person that doesn't exist, I might add, you fell in love with a cartoon character. You fell in love with a cartoon character. That person's not real. So you have to let go of this fantasy and you have to let go of the ghost. That person, the nice person, so warm, so kind, so considerate, they don't exist. You have to let the fantasy go. Okay? I'm sure a lot of men fell in love with Jessica Rabbit, the cartoon character Jessica Rabbit. She had a body like that, baby. But they had to also check themselves and realize, you know what? I'm having dreams about a cartoon character. She's not even real, but she's hot, but she's not real. Exactly. The son of a bitch that I was engaged to, Mr. Holy Roller. Did I want to take him out? Yeah. Do I want to end up in Potosi prison? No. Is he worth all that? No. The one I wanted to take care of in Florida, is he worth all that? No, because I'm going to prison. He'll never put his nasty hands on someone again. He will never belittle someone again. He will never act like, He never put his hands on me, but sometimes psychological abuse is just as bad. Okay. Is he worth me getting locked up? No. And you have to remember that if you stay in this situation, you're going to be pushed towards violence, potentially. I don't give a rat's ass what you say. With all due respect, I don't give a rat's ass what you say. I would never do that. It's just not my nature. It ain't my nature either. But when you're getting sick and tired of being disrespected and sick and tired of them putting their hands on you, and you're getting sick and tired of being belittled, and you're getting sick and tired of crying and hyperventilating and they're just sitting there like this. What time is it anyway? Oh yeah, you're going to want to knock the holy hell out of somebody. I'm just keeping it real with you. And when you knock them out or go upside their head with a frying pan, because you're going to be tempted to do that. I wouldn't advise you to do it. You're going to be tempted. It's not worth it. And some of them will deliberately push you so that you can go off on them, ball up your fists and start swinging so that they can A, record you, and B, call the cops and get you arrested, even though they pushed you to that point. Get the hell away from them. Pick up your self-esteem off the goddamn floor. Pick it up off the floor. Develop love and concern for yourself and get the hell out of there. Get out. In the beginning. If you're already in it, make your exit strategy. Make it happen. And you don't tell them you're going to make it happen, because people have gotten eliminated by giving their partner a heads up. You don't want to tell the devil what your next move is. You just make the move. Okay? When they come home from work, the house is empty. All your stuff is gone. Their stuff is there, but your stuff is gone and the kids are gone. It's not worth you snapping and going to jail. Okay? It's not worth you going to jail. I am fortunate that I didn't end up in jail. I am fortunate that I didn't end up in juvenile detention, because let me tell you one more thing. And y'all, those of you who follow me for a long time, you know this already. I got to go. You already know this, but my brother, he's evil. I never talk about him. He is a violent individual. And I finally was, when I was in my 20s, after dealing with him all my life, up until that point, well, from when he was born, he was a devil. Violent. I got to the point where I got sick and damn tired of it. And my fiance at the time snatched me up, because I was about to literally take him out. And I had these professional scissors that look like they're on steroids. They're the scissors you use when you cut patterns. Those of you who make clothes, you know what I'm talking about. They're scissors on steroids. I held them in my hand with the point up. Let's pretend, got this part, right? Let's pretend that part is the blade. I held it up. I sat on the floor model TV, because that's how long ago it was. I held it in scissors in my hand, and he was threatening me, and I said, come on. Because if you touch me, I'm cutting you up in hundreds of pieces. Come on. Guess what? For the first time in his life, he was scared of me. For the first time in his life, he realized that, oh shit, my devil behavior can result in the person attacking me. I never saw that coming. When I act crazier than you gonna think twice. When I'm screaming and yelling at you, baby, you good. When I get quiet and I say, come on. Because if you touch me, this is what's going to happen to you. I don't scream and yell at that point. Now I'm ready to take action. If I would have, my fiance at the time, like I said, and I eventually married him, but he snatched me up and prevented me from killing him. But I'm here to tell you, if he would have charged me, the so-called brother, if he would have charged me, I was going to be a wild animal. I would have been hard to control, because that blade would have been everywhere. Okay? It's not worth it. They're not worth it. Now, I done told you, I done warned you. I don't want your family members or your partner, your family, your great auntie, your cousin, whoever, telling you, you know what? My daughter should have listened to you. She was with a crazy person. She should have listened to your video, because now she's in prison. I don't want your people telling me that. I'm trying to prevent you from going down that road, because I was almost down that road. And if I would have took my brother out, I would have went to prison. I was old enough at that point. I would have went to prison. But I also went berserko on a girl who, she shoved me. And again, I have PTSD. I don't think you want to play with me, because you'll find out the hard way that was not a smart move on your part. She shoved me. I chased her. She's the one I almost hit in the head with a beer bottle. And basically, God saved me, because I heard a voice in my head that was an authoritative voice. Don't tell me God's not real. Don't freaking tell me that crap. Okay? I heard an authoritative voice. I had the beer bottle up like this, and I was going to whop her hard. I knocked her to the ground, and I was about to whop her hard. And I heard a voice. It was one word that said, don't. Honey, I stopped dead in my tracks. Don't tell me God's not real. That didn't come from me. That was God telling me, you going down the wrong road, girl. You going down the wrong road. Don't do it. So I'm warning you. Get away from these people before they either do something to you, because that's possible too. It happens every day. Or you do something to them. All right? This is a warning. Y'all better take this seriously. This is very, very, very seriously and very serious. And like I said, this is really hard to talk about, but I am warning you. A person can take but so much before they freaking lose their shit. And their whole family and all their friends are going, oh, she would never do that. Or he would never do that. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Happens every day. All the time. Okay? You've got wackadoos that annihilate their whole family. What do the neighbors say? That person was such a nice person, so quiet, didn't bother anybody. Right. They were quietly crazy. Be careful. Get away from these demons, okay? Y'all take care. Much love.